Have you ever wondered what's truly holding you back? Is it the fear of solitude in the quiet, or the grim voice whispering that you're not good enough? But that's like laying new bricks on a house whose foundation is already cracked. Real power begins from within. Every thought, every tiny decision, woven together into a sturdy chain of actions. Only when you understand your inner structure, your habits, your stress responses, and how you define success, can you truly spark a personal revolution. When night falls, worries drift around your ears like dark shadows, echoing a chilling question. Am I wasting my life? This challenge isn't meant to stop you in your tracks, but to awaken your hidden will, gently yet resolutely. We often seek change on the outside. A new job, a different environment, fresh relationships. The transformation happens quietly but powerfully, like an underground spring, nourishing the land, slowly forming a lush valley. Day by day, a small act of will is forged, bringing you closer to the strongest, most serene version of yourself. Stay calm and listen. When that jolt of unease creeps in, it's your inner self stirring. Anxiety isn't the enemy, it's a companion, warning you that you've drifted too far from your true nature. Don't rush to soothe it, face it, ask it. Why have you come? What do you want from me? With each answer, you'll gather the missing pieces of your own portrait. Persuasion is the science where reason and emotion converge. When you analyze how many opportunities did I miss out of fear? How many dreams did I postpone because I doubted myself? You'll see the invisible wall blocking your path, but don't panic. Breathe deeply, feel that gentle breath, and begin removing the heaviest brick labeled "I can't." Let your ego question, evaluate, and then gently release, making room for new strength. This journey of rebirth didn't start yesterday, and it won't wait for tomorrow. It begins right now, in this very moment when you face the truth. On this journey, you won't need to shout or punish yourself. So, are you ready to heed that call to challenge? 1. Do small things to ignite your power. You stand before the mirror, the yellowish light casting shadows across your tired face. In a fleeting moment, you trace those familiar lines and wonder, can I spark a breakthrough with something so tiny? When that echo of doubt reverberates in your mind, treat it as a wake-up call, because it's the smallest grains of sand that build an unbreakable desert. Compelling analysis. Each time you complete a minor task, your brain floods with dopamine, your happiness hormone, fueling the motivation to continue. Like flipping on a light switch, one small success illuminates the path to the next steps. Psychological domino effect. Every action, however tiny, can trigger a chain reaction in the brain. When you offer a genuine smile to a stranger, your brain releases oxytocin, which lowers stress and opens the door to trust and connection. A micro change sparks a micro ripple one day. That newfound connection will pull you out of your self-imposed isolation. Self-reinforcing mechanism. Small behaviors are easy to perform and demand little willpower, shiver-inducing yet gentle prompt. When the message reaches another mind, your brain boosts its commitment, sure, far less likely to back down. Have you ever felt a fleeting twinge of unease when you consider the energy-draining routines you cling to each day? For example, consciously tidy your desk tray. Jot down 3 things you're grateful for. Turn off your phone and take 5 deep breaths. One day he decides to do just. Fold 3 shirts neatly after laundry. Only 3 shirts, what's the big deal? You might think, yet the simple act of perfect folds awakened his sense of control. He went on to organize his bookshelves, then sorted his email inbox, and finally mapped out his next day. Those tiny bricks built a fortress called discipline. Its sensation is like a cold finger on your heart. Warning, don't stay idle any longer. But don't fear this alarm. Let it guide you on a subtle journey where each small act stands as a metaphor for your inner strength. How to implement. Pick a micro goal. Choose a single action you can complete in 5 minutes. Each checkmark is your personal victory, inspiring you for the next day. Make a public commitment. Share your tiny goal with a friend or colleague. When those tiny actions accumulate, they transform into a powerful current that wears down every obstacle. Believe that change begins with a tiny seed. Don't wait for miracles, because the miracle is these tiny, consistent acts. Now you hold a mini-map in your hands. each starting point an explosive trigger for your personal revolution. Reach out and pull the pin. Track and reward. Mark done on your calendar or habit tracking app. Real-world example. Imagine a guy who's always complaining about being too busy to care for himself. Gentle yet resolute guidance. Don't let your willpower flicker like a candle about to go out. Protect it with consistent small actions. Whenever you feel yourself drifting, simply ask, "What have I done today to prove my own worth?" If your answer is silence, it is time to act, whether that's flashing a smile or standing up for a quick walk around the room. Persuasive conclusion. You don't need to take a giant leap. You only need to start with the smallest step that convinces your brain you are in charge. 2. Cut fear off. Master your mind. Have you ever felt your heart race uncontrollably when imagining worst-case scenarios that haven't even happened? That sharp, trembling sensation isn't your fault. It's your brain's physiological reaction to an imagined threat. But if you let it take over, you'll remain trapped in your own mental snare. At the same time, your prefrontal cortex, your seat of reason, loses influence. The result? You react with primitive emotion instead of clear judgment. Scientific and logical breakdown. Origin of anxiety. When you ask, "What if I fail?" your brain's amygdala lights up, triggering fear and tension. Cognitive feedback loop. One negative thought breeds another. Am I capable? Leads to everyone will laugh at me. Don't let it freeze you in place. Breathe evenly. Your breath is a soft bridge between mind and body. These looping questions erode self-confidence, piling anxiety higher and higher like an insurmountable wall. Challenging yet gentle prompt. Hear that icy whisper of worry. You don't deserve this. Once you realize that whisper is just internal turbulence, you've begun reclaiming control. Strategies to stop anxiety. Distinguish fact from imagined scenario. Write down the thought that disturbs you. Ask, is this certain to happen? What evidence do I have beyond fear? Spot the logic gap and drill out anxiety at its source. High self-talk. Instead of scolding, "Why am I so stupid?" Hey, "I'm anxious. That shows I care. I can shift my thinking." This inner voice is like a warm blanket soothing your nervous system back to calm. Positive feedback loop technique. After each small task, reward yourself with a simple acknowledgement. I did it. Your brain releases dopamine, erasing cortisol, the stress hormone. Over time, your mind learns. Anxiety isn't my only choice. I can choose calm. Gentle attention redirection. When anxiety strikes, list 5 things you see. Colors, shapes, sounds. This awakens your analytical cortex, long buried under anxious reactivity. After trying negative visualization, she imagined total project failure, losing her reputation. None of it happened. Instead, the client praised her work and colleagues applauded. Through this, Lan saw anxiety for what it was. A phantom. She regained control of her mind, slept soundly, and performed more effectively. Stoic negative visualization. Intentionally imagine the worst possible outcomes until you're moved to tears. By dissecting the logic, asking hard questions, and redirecting focus, you disarm anxiety's blade, turning it into a tool to sharpen your will. Be gentle with yourself, yet steadfast in strategy. Each day, one small action to reclaim your mind. The waves of worry will subside. What remains is unshakable courage laced with serenity. Then realize, even this worst case is bearable. Suddenly, future worries shrank to the size of a falling petal. A life example. Lan, a creative marketer, lost sleep over a critical campaign. She pictured harsh client criticism and team blame. Persuasive conclusion. Anxiety isn't an unbeatable enemy. It's a biological process you can master. 3. Disciplined step-by-step, enduring strength. Have you ever felt weighed down at the thought of forcing yourself to wake up at 5 a.m.? Does your heart skip a beat when you imagine yourself sitting quietly in meditation, even though your mind is still hazy? That's your inner self stirring, urging you to push past your old limits. Scientific and logical analysis. Neural anatomy of habit. Your prefrontal cortex issues the decision. Basal ganglia, your brain's habit center, stores and automates it. First, every action requires an act of will. After weeks of repetition, the basal ganglia takes over, freeing your prefrontal cortex to focus on the next challenge. The 3-step habit loop. 1. Cue, light, sound, or a physical sensation. 2. Routine, rising, meditating, journaling. 3. Reward, a sense of satisfaction, a dopamine surge, pride. When these 3 link tightly, a habit cements itself deeply. Gentle, but challenging prompt. Ever shiver at the idea that each day you go without action, you're surrendering a piece of your power? Examples: a 5-minute morning meditation, a 10-minute workout, a 3-line gratitude journal. That cold sensation creeping up your spine reminds you, do unrest on yesterday's triumphs? Yet don't panic. True strength lies in how you begin. Step 1. Identify your core habits. Select 1 or 2 keystone habits that have ripple effects throughout your life. Criteria: directly serve your long-term goals. Easy to perform, with minimal barriers at the outset. Amplification effect. Once a keystone habit sticks, it propels the growth of other positive routines. If your phone sits on the nightstand, you'll be tempted to check messages. Here's how to fight that impulse. Step 2. Design a supportive environment. Your brain is lazy by design, seeking shortcuts to maximize safety and conserve energy. 1. Eliminate distractions. Place your phone out of reach. Disable non-essential notifications. 2. Create physical cues. Keep your meditation cushion by the bed. Set your water bottle and running shoes by the door. 3. Prepare the night before. Lay out workout clothes, journal, and pen. 4. Proclaim your internal authority. You are the only one with the power to issue decrees over your own life. Imagine the moment you resolutely declare, "I stop procrastinating." That decree, sharp as a blade, severs every tie that binds you to old habits. The brain's motor cortex, the region linked to concrete action, lights up, rather than just your prefrontal cortex of abstract thought. The result? Your ability to initiate behavior skyrockets because you've loaded a clear, non-negotiable order into your mind. Compelling analysis: by commanding yourself, you reinforce this belief, minimizing the urge to blame circumstances and boosting your sense of autonomy. The power of a personal command. When you issue a command to yourself, you shift from observer to commander. Internal locus of control. Individuals with an internal locus of control believe that their successes and failures depend on their own actions. A gentle yet challenging prompt. Have you ever felt that cold shock down your spine when the thought "I've wasted too much time" crosses your mind? That sensation is your wake-up call. You need to issue your decree right now before time slips away any further. But don't panic. Inhale deeply and face the truth with calm resolve. Structure of your decree: choose the single most urgent action. For example, I will read 10 pages of a book every morning before 9 a.m. Identify one single target. Don't juggle lose weight. Learn a language. Master a skill all at once. Why? A decree must be specific, measurable, and focused on one action alone. Phrase it as an order instead of "I want to wake up early." Say, "I wake up at 5:30 every day." Effect. An order removes the option to negotiate, placing you in the mindset of "I must do this." Tie the decree to your core values. Example: I wake up at 5:30 to honor my most precious resource, my time. Impact. When a decree resonates with a deep value, your intrinsic motivation becomes more powerful than any external reward or punishment. Establish accountability. Not only did he stop cold turkey, he publicly declared no cigarette days to his generals and the press. That personal command powered him through cravings and became a living testament to the strength of an internal decree. Announce your decree to friends, family, or colleagues. Reason. External expectations transform a personal order into an unbreakable commitment. Ritualize the action. Each morning, don't just get out of bed. Perform a fixed sequence. Open the window. Breathe deeply. Jot down 3 things you're grateful for. Persuasive example: Dwight D. Eisenhower. A heavy smoker of 24 cigarettes a day, he one day decreed, "I quit smoking as of today." When that decree imprints on your subconscious, you cease to drift. You become the absolute commander of your own destiny. Begin now. Choose your decree. Articulate it clearly, link it to your values, and ritualize it. In doing so, you won't just achieve a small target. You will build a rock solid, its foundation for every grand plan and dream that follows. Do you have the courage to treat time as your adversary and decree, "I will never waste the dawn again"? Believe that a single self-command can generate the momentum that pulls you forward. Coping strategies when your command is challenged, when your will falters, ask yourself, if not me, then who? If not now, then when? Log every slip immediately. Today I didn't wake up early. Reason, analyze the cause, then reaffirm tomorrow's decree. Reward yourself in satisfying simplicity. A quality cup of coffee, a 10-minute leisurely walk. A gentle challenge. Do you dare to issue an uncompromising order to yourself? Persuasive conclusion. Issuing a decree to yourself isn't an act of tyranny. It's a proclamation of your internal authority. 5. Reclaim every precious minute. Do you ever feel a pang in your heart when you think of hours wasted scrolling social media without purpose or watching TV by reflex? The truth is, time and attention cannot be replenished. Once they pass, you can never get them back. They are your most precious assets, and when you waste them, you are sentencing yourself to a slow death. Every second spent on meaningless activities is a second traded away from your own potential. Each time a notification interrupts you, the brain must restart the focus process. Taking about 25 minutes to refocus, according to research from the University of California, Irvine. Suppose you spend 3 hours a day browsing the web unconsciously. Over a month, that adds up to 90 hours. More than 3 full days stolen from your life. Compelling analysis, value of time. A day has 86,400 seconds, never changing. Power of focus. Your brain can deeply concentrate on only one task at a time. Provocation and challenge. Imagine you are sitting by a window, looking at a clear sky, but your mind is in turmoil because of ceaseless notifications. A feeling of restlessness and anxiety floods you like a stream of cold water rushing into your chest. Challenge yourself. Dare to turn off all notifications, delete useless apps, and face that powerful silence. Liberation Strategies 1. Track and evaluate. Spend 1 week meticulously logging every activity, noting the time and purpose. Group activities into high value, medium value, and low value. Outcome. You will be shocked to see that tens of % of your time falls into low value. 2. Establish no non-essential rules. Apply Marcus Aurelius' principle. Say no to what is unnecessary. Example, check email only twice a day. Mute all notifications except important calls and messages. 3. Apply the 80-20th rule. Identify the 20% of activities that produce 80% of your results. Focus your resources on that 20%. Minimize or eliminate the remaining 80%. 4. Create a creative time block. Choose the time when you are most alert. Commit to doing nothing but high-value work during this block. After the tracking period, he realized that 60% of his tasks generated no revenue and only drained energy. He applied the 80-20th rule. Reserved mornings for coding, afternoons for scheduled client care, and limited inbox checks. Every minute you give away is a brick you cannot replace. Let go gently of the time thieves, but firmly strip away meaningless notifications. Cherish your focus like a treasure, nurturing it with silence and a non-essential rule. When you intentionally reallocate your resources, you not only free time and mind, but also reclaim the power to make any grand dream a reality. As a result, his income increased by 30%. His mental health improved significantly, and he gained 2 extra hours each day for reading. Minimize mental intruders. Set your device to airplane mode. Use apps to block distracting websites. 5. Learn to decline gracefully. For every external invitation, ask, what is my reason for participating? Does it serve my goal? When in doubt, respond, I will decline to focus on my goal. Your life example high. A freelance programmer once got caught in a small task vortex, replying to emails, tweaking layouts, then commenting in group chats. Conclusion. Time and attention are not for entertainment, but for building your future. 6. Face tough challenges. Have you ever felt your heart pounding when you face a task you know is beyond your comfort zone? That shiver of fear is a sign that your threshold is calling you to grow. Tough challenges are not meant to punish you, but to hone your inner strength, transforming you from vulnerable to unbreakable. Deep and logical analysis. Similarly, each time you proactively meet a difficulty, even a small one, your brain activates its adaptation system. You engage the HPA axis, release cortisol in moderation, then recover quickly thanks to endorphins. With each exposure, your tolerance threshold rises, like steel tempered in fire. 1. Hormesis. Strength from controlled stress. In biology, hormesis describes how a small dose of stress builds resistance to a larger dose later. 2. Zone of proximal development. Psychologist Lev Vygotsky coined the term zone of proximal development to describe the gap between current ability and potential ability, where people learn fastest with the right support. When you choose a challenge within reach hard enough to push you, but not so hard that you break you, place yourself in an optimal stretch state, prompting your brain to form new neural connections. 8. Each time you say, "I will do this even if I'm afraid," you reinforce your internal locus of control. The result, you are less likely to blame circumstances and more likely to trust in your own power to overcome adversity. 3. Actively choosing difficulty. Boosting locus of control. Facing a tough challenge is not a passive reaction, but a deliberate assertion of control over your life. It's provocative and gentle challenge. Imagine the darkness surrounding you, and only you walking a path with no lights. Your heart may feel like it will burst, but in that moment you know you are alive and fully present. For example, practice saying no in a high-pressure meeting or give a short presentation to a small group. Challenge yourself. Do you dare step into the darkness to discover your hidden strength? Each step beyond your comfort zone is a building block for resilience. Practical steps. 1. Choose an appropriate challenge. Don't go to extremes instead of immediately. Signing up for a marathon or mountain climb? Start with a moderately difficult task. Criteria. It should make you a bit nervous, but still allow you to persevere. When one of you hesitates, the other can provide motivation to push through. 2. Plan every step. Outline preparation phases, root fears, small actionable steps, and how you will measure progress. Before every meeting, he would tremble, worried his concept seemed immature. Instead of avoiding it, Tuan created a gradual exposure plan. First, he practiced with a close colleague, then with the creative team, and finally in the client conference room. Each time, his heart raced, but his anxiety diminished. After 3 months, Tuan no longer feared presentations. Instead, proactively pitched new ideas and felt more confident than ever in his career. Example, if your goal is to speak in public, you might practice in front of a mirror. Record yourself. Present to a friend. Present to a small team. Finally present at a company meeting. 3. Practice gradual exposure. Each time you face a fear, you smash subconscious barriers and expand your personal frontier. Give yourself a chance. Pick something that makes you shiver. Plan carefully. Expose yourself gradually. Journal your progress and connect with fellow travelers. When you calmly confront the monster within, you realize that your true power, resilience, and indomitability has always been there, waiting for you to call it forth. Psychology shows that slow exposure to the source of anxiety helps your body adapt and reduces your stress response. Step back slightly from your maximum threshold, then increase exposure gradually. 4. Journal and reflect. After each face-off, write down 3 things you found most difficult and 2 things you did well. This not only tracks progress, but forces you to confront negative emotions and understand how they work. 5. Seek community support. Find a friend, partner, or group with the same goal to hold each other accountable.
Actually would be a life example.
Tuan, a designer, always feared presenting ideas to major clients. Gentle but firm conclusion: tough challenges are not meant to break you, but to rebirth you stronger. 7. Choose allies. Defeat dangers. Have you ever heard that cold echo in your head when you think of people who make you hesitate? The whisper, "You are not worthy." That is often not your own thought, but a reflection of those you interact with daily. Relationships can either fuel your energy or hold back your progress. Conversely, time with optimists floods you with oxytocin and dopamine, making you feel connected and creatively energized. If your teammates constantly complain, your brain will automatically replicate that negativity. You begin to hesitate even before your goal is clear. Deep and logical analysis. Emotional contagion. When you spend time with pessimists, your brain's cortisol levels rise, reducing resilience and motivation. Mirror neurons effect. Mirror neurons cause you to mimic the emotions and behaviors around you. Social 80/20 rule. About 20% of a group influence, 80% of its overall mood. Identifying the right 20% positive and 20% negative is key to optimizing your environment. Provocation and gentle challenge. Imagine standing in a crowd, yet only one person whispers you can't do this. Your body tenses, your heart races. Challenge yourself. Will you let one negative word or doubtful glance dictate your next move? Step 1. Assess your inner circle. 1. List the 10 people you interact with most. Family, close friends, colleagues, social media followers. 2. Score their influence from -5 to +5. -5 drains your energy, +5 revitalizes you. 3. Analyze the total. If it's negative, you are trapped in a draining cycle where your potential is slowly siphoned away. Step 2. Remove and replace. After applying the influence score, she realized 3 colleagues were the main negativity sources. She gradually limited interactions with them, joined a creative digital marketing community on Facebook, and then invited them for coffee to exchange ideas. Within 2 months, Lan felt clear-minded, excelled in campaigns, and earned praise from her boss. Eliminate toxins. Reduce time spent meeting, messaging, or calling people who hold you back. Nurture positive bonds. Befriend growth-minded colleagues. Join a book club, sports team, or a professional workshop. Monthly challenge. Each month, aim to form 2 new positive score relationships and observe the boost in your energy. Real-life example. Lan, a young marketer, worked with a team that constantly complained and lacked creativity. She felt headaches, insomnia, and lost inspiration. Step 3. Mastermind group. Strategic allies. Form a group of 3 to 5 like-minded individuals with shared career goals or personal development interests. Will you tell a new colleague, "I need you to keep up with my pace so I don't slack off"? By openly stating your need for positive connection, you signal that you value growth and refuse to be held back by others' hesitations. By choosing, nurturing, and challenging your relationships, you create the ideal environment for your own rise. Every positive ally amplifies your progress. Every toxic link removed is a wind at your back. Start today. Assess, remove, and strengthen connections with those who lift you up so you can advance together, no matter the storm. Meet regularly, share progress, challenges, honest feedback, and support. Unwritten rules: respect one another, no judgment. Commit to pushing each other beyond limits. Sustain your strategy. 1. Periodic 360 feedback. Each member provides 2 strengths and 1 improvement suggestion for you. 2. Public commitment. Share your goals and deadlines with the group. 3. Guest experts. Occasionally invite mentors or specialists to inspire and guide you more deeply. A gentle challenge: will you dare to review and reorganize the people around you? Inspirational conclusion: you are not a victim of your social network, you are its architect. 8. Change is not the enemy. Have you ever felt a chill run down your spine at the thought of changing a long-standing habit? That feeling is like the soft creak of an old rusted door opening, warning you that you are stepping out of your comfort zone. It is comforting to hide in familiar routines, but every great transformation begins the moment you dare to face a turning point. When you prepare to change Evan, a small habit, the brain releases cortisol, triggering anxiety and alertness. It is an evolutionary survival mechanism called the fight-flight response. When markets crash, technology shifts, and life's kaleidoscope spins, those clinging to old habits are left behind. Change is not the enemy, but a required lesson for survival and growth. When you view change as a natural law, it no longer startles you. Instead, you see each shift as an opportunity to restructure yourself, strengthening what is strong and removing what is weak. Understanding the fear of change, the human brain operates like a protection system. The amygdala detects anything unusual, positive or negative, and treats it as a threat. Picture your new future with all its challenges, anxieties, and failures, until your heart feels frozen. Then you realize most fears exist only in your mind. Break your goal into manageable fragments and expose yourself gradually. For example, if you fear a career switch, start by improving skills through a short course and try a side project, and only then resign from your current job. Each small success builds confidence and weakens fear. When you confront the worst-case scenario, change feels more manageable than you imagined. The illusion of safety faced with "I might fail," she envisioned the worst. "I lose income," become a laughingstock. Then she enrolled in a 2-week online course, joined a forum, and wrote a trial blog post. Every change, even if unsettling, becomes a learning opportunity. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this change? When you find an answer, your curiosity will outshine your hesitation. When her first post received positive feedback, her fear faded. I realized change does not destroy but brings new energy. Evolution favored routines to prevent deadly mistakes. Today, however, repeating the same old path only creates a false sense of security. Change is a constant. When you stop fearing, you open the door to creativity and growth. Step lightly across the threshold, but refuse to return to old routines. Only by daring to face change will you discover the strongest, most peaceful version of yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The world is in constant flux. He who does not change will be left behind." Stoic strategy. Accept before you act. Take a different route to work, or video call a stranger in the field you want to learn. You will be surprised at how strong you really are. The silence after the wind of change brings a gentle magic, like a sunrise after a storm. A classic Stoic exercise is premeditatio malorum, imagining the worst outcome. In advance, your prefrontal cortex engages problem-solving instead of releasing cortisol from the amygdala. See, change is a microscope revealing your potential, not an icy mountain blocking your path. Reframe. Opportunity or threat? Psychology shows that framing determines emotion. When you tell yourself, "This is my chance to explore, learn," step-by-step exposure, do not leap blindly. Vivid example, an accountant, hesitated to move into digital marketing. Cultivate a growth mindset. Carol Dweck's growth mindset shows that if you believe ability can improve, you welcome challenges and trust that effort leads to achievement. Gentle challenge, try turning off a familiar app for 24 hours. Soft but resolute conclusion, change is not a departure from the self, but a journey lifting you beyond old limits. 9. Refuse all useless. Yes. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by countless unnamed requests? Meaningless meetings? Group chat messages with no consequence? Coffee invitations just to chat until your heart skips a beat at the sight of a packed calendar? That feeling is like an undertow pulling away your energy, making you wonder, who am I racing for besides myself? According to Roy Baumeister, after dozens of simple choices, your thinking ability declines, making you more likely to accept trivial requests. These random yes answers blur your mind to important decisions. When we constantly say yes to pointless tasks, we trade valuable resources, time, and focus for things that bring no real value. Compelling analysis. 1. Decision fatigue. Each decision consumes mental energy. 2. Eisenhower matrix. Every task falls into one of 4 quadrants. 1. Important and urgent. 2. Important and not urgent. 3. Not important and urgent. 4. Not important and not urgent. Each ding is like a pinprick to your calm. When you are afraid to say no, everything becomes urgent, eroding your ability to focus on quadrant 1 and 2, where breakthroughs happen. Important tasks get postponed while trivial matters occupy top priority. Provocation and chill. Imagine sitting before a sea of paperwork and a screen flashing message notifications without stop. Your heart counts down as you suppress the frustration. What am I doing with my life? Every break to say yes to a new request costs you performance and creativity. That is when you need a decisive voice. No thank you. Harm of random yes one. Scattered focus. When your mind is pulled into tiny fragments, you lose sight of the big picture. 2. Reduced productivity. According to Cal Newport, author of Deep Work, true deep work only emerges when you have long, uninterrupted time. 3. Disrespected boundaries. Each unnecessary yes is a yes you borrow from your peace, health, or other important relationships. Smart No Strategies 1. Filter through your value lens before agreeing. Ask, does this contribute to my main goal? Example, if your goal is to finish a book, a random coffee chat is meaningless distraction. 2. No thank, but technique. Step 1. Thank. Step 2. Decline clearly. Step 3. If appropriate. Suggest an alternative 3. Use a commitment device. Publicly share your important schedule with your team so when extra requests come, you can point to a busy work session. Effect: reduces arguments and outside pressure. After applying the Eisenhower matrix, Nam removed all unnecessary status meetings, delegated most progress tracking, and focused only on strategy meetings and creative brainstorming sessions. The result? Project timeline accelerated by 20%. Costs reduced by 15%, and the team became much more engaged. Are you strong enough to embrace the silence of an empty calendar instead of the constant ping of notifications? A single decisive no is worth 10,000 half-hearted yes answers. 4. The 24-hour pause. When you receive an invitation, instead of answering immediately, say, "Let me check my schedule and get back to you in 24 hours." Each refusal sheds an invisible burden, freeing resources to invest in what truly matters. Be gentle but unyielding. From today, each yes you give must be worthy of your greatest dreams and goals. This gives you time to listen to your intuition instead of reacting out of fear of offending. 5. Practice no. Yes. Each time you say no to something useless, award yourself a yes for a valuable activity. Example, today I said no to 3 meaningless meetings and said yes to 1 skill building session. Real life example. Nam, a project manager, once saw his calendar packed, but his team's performance drop. Gentle challenge, do you dare to drop the suitcase full of useless yes? Soft but resolute conclusion, saying no does not make you cold. It's on the contrary, it respects yourself and the values you pursue. 10. Maintain rhythm. Advance without backsliding. Have you ever been startled to realize you've slept through a chaotic week when morning meditation and journaling routines vanished? That unease feels like an inner sigh, reminding you that the Stoic path is not straight but winding. Yet in the broken rhythm, you rediscover the fixed axis to restore motivation and steadfastness. When you wake, meditate, exercise, and plan, these are the notes composing your day. Once the melody is interrupted, even by one note, the entire piece can lose coherence and appeal. At first, 5 minutes of meditation requires strong willpower, but after 21 days, the basal ganglia automate the behavior, freeing the prefrontal cortex from starting it. Regular repetition transforms the new into habit, and habit becomes an essential part of identity. 1. The nature of personal rhythm is not a soulless clock, but a sequence of actions where each step leads to the next. 2. Neural mechanism of consistency. The brain records each repeated behavior via neural connections. 3. Reviving rhythm after a break. When routines collapse, you may panic and feel empty like a sail without wind. Instead of self-blame, breathe gently and acknowledge, I only lost my rhythm, not my direction forever. This gentleness fuels intrinsic motivation, dispels anxiety, and triggers determination to restart. 4. Micro reset strategy 1. Reset cue. Choose a small sign that shows you lost rhythm. For example, opening your phone and immediately checking social media instead of focusing on today's goals. 2. Restart action. When the cue appears, stop and perform a reset. Take one deep breath, Then write down 3 things to complete in the next 5 minutes. 3. Reaffirm purpose. Write a brief statement for the habit. I meditate to calm my mind. Place the note next to your pillow or desk. These visual cues help you keep the action flow built. 5. Use implementation intention between theory and action is a gap. Good intentions often die without a clear script. The if-then technique closes that gap. When you fail, they will check in. When you succeed, they will cheer. If I wake and see a notification light, then I will glance and then turn off all notifications. Can you be gentle with yourself without judgment, but resolute enough to hit the restart button? Choose one cue of lost rhythm, perhaps the first notification, and turn it into a call to your preset process. If I feel distracted while journaling, then I will stand up, walk around, and then sit down to continue. When condition and action link tightly, the brain understands triggers and responses, reducing hesitation. When habits cease to be mere actions and become part of who you are, you will sustain them naturally, like breathing. 6. Environment as a reminder when habits falter. Gently restart using if-then, environmental reminders, and accountability. Each successful return to rhythm strengthens your belief that, no matter how rough the road, you conduct the music of your life, maintaining a tone that is both gentle and resolute. Today, which step will you choose to make your rhythm resound again? When habits vanish, environment is a powerful ally. Leave your book open at a bookmark. Place your exercise mat by your bed. Set the meditation app alarm to on 7. Accountability partner. Share your rhythm with a trusted partner. Daily messages like, I finished 5 minutes of meditation will prompt you not to let the other wait. Public commitment creates undeniable accountability. Gentle challenge. Do you dare to look at an empty schedule and call it an opportunity to return? 9. Integrate rhythm into identity as you repeat habits. Tell yourself, I am someone who follows routines to keep mind and body aligned. 10. Calm but firm conclusion. Rhythm and consistency are not rigid goals, but gentle companions, guiding you through life's turns. Take action today. Have you ever felt your heart tighten at the thought of dreams still lying in a drawer? That feeling is like a cold chill creeping into your bones, reminding you that time waits for no one. Now you stand at a decision point. Continue delaying or step forward to make your dreams real? 1. Identify psychological barriers. Inner anxiety. Thoughts like, will I fail? Or what will people say? Are natural reactions of the amygdala. But when you face them and accept your fear, you take away its power. After 5 minutes, your brain is warmed up enough to keep going until completion. Treat procrastination as an internal saboteur that must be exposed and eliminated immediately. Unconscious procrastination, according to Pierce Steele. The more you delay, the more you get trapped in long-term procrastination. 2. The golden moment. The 5-minute rule, you will be surprised at the latent energy behind that moment of reluctance. Reverse Pomodoro method. Instead of starting with 25 minutes of work, commit only to the first 5 minutes of the task, whether reading an article, drafting an outline, or sending an important email. The challenge. Set a 300-second timer and begin work as soon as it rings. 3. Small commitments, big impact. Public commitment. Post on social media or send a message to a friend that you will complete the first step today. Outside accountability will push you forward. Commitment device. Schedule reminders on your phone or use an app to block social media during your committed period. 4. Start now without long preparation. You will instantly feel your mind begin to shift. Choose the smallest step, act for 5 minutes, and commit publicly. The moment you touch that first document file, you have won over hesitation. Straighten your back, take a deep breath, and step forward. Today is the start of everything. When you look back, you will see how those tiny actions pulled you out of the quicksand of procrastination and pushed you forward. Instant micro-action. If the project feels too large, break it into micro-actions. Open your notebook, write a title, or identify 3 sources. Dopamine boost. Every small action triggers a dopamine response that urges you on. 5. Gentle challenge. Ask yourself, if I do not act today, will I forgive myself? The regret of missed opportunities is like that cold chill keeping you awake all night. Do not let it happen again.
6.
Firm but gentle conclusion: you do not need to wait for the perfect moment. It is an illusion. Take action now, not tomorrow, not after another night of overthinking.